So I'll just give a couple of some background information before going into the test skill. So the Monocle project also includes a agentic test framework. So here I'm showing an example of that test. So the idea is that you have run your agentic application, say an agentic turn, ask a question and got a response back, and that you have generated it's instrumented with Monocle to generate the traces. Uh, then you have, let's say, based on that question and based on the understanding of your agent, there's a certain expected behavior, what that agent's response should be in terms of its format, in terms of its the architecture, like what sub-agent it should call or what tools it should call. So the trace will record that behavior, and then this agentic framework allows you, the test framework allows you to assert that behavior. So to make sure that your agent, every time you're running that test, is behaving the way you were expected. So this is on top of the PyTest. All you have to do is just have this PyTest test, and with the Monocle Asserter is that PyTest plugin that the community includes. So once you install the Monocle test package, you can create these, just run your agent, or if you've already run that agent separately, you have a trace file or that traces is sitting in the mod repository, like say S3 or in Okahu, you can pull that and then do your validation. So this is an example that says, whether the entire operation took less than 3,000 tokens and it took less than 30 seconds, or the input contains a token and the output contains another token. Or let's see if I have an example here. Yeah, so these are the examples that says verify that a hotel agent actually called a hotel booking tool, because I'm doing a hotel booking operation here. So you can do all these validations in that PyTest against your agent's operation. So that's already part of the Monocle open source. You can just go ahead, install Monocle and try this out. So the next step, what we are trying to do here is that, let's say you have an agent already coded. So let's say this is, I have a travel agent. It's implemented using LangGraph. It's right now it's kind of mock. It does the mock tools for hotel booking and flight booking. So it's an interactive agent. You ask a question, book me a flight from this airport to that airport for this day, and it will tell you that whether you book the flight or not. So let's say you're coming from a stage where you have started an agent, you have it in a certain stage where it's like your lab prototype, or you've already deployed it somewhere. You probably have some sort of a README file, and either you hand coded this agent or you created that sort of requirement README, give it to your coding agent, and have that code generated. Now your next step is to do this validation. So this is where we have two skills that now we are developing for to work with the Monocle and Okahu. Is the first one is to help you generate a test plan. So you basically tell a coding agent like Claude that examine my readmes, my agent code, and come up with a test plan. And when I run that skill, so it generated this test plan. It's actually into preview. It sort of, first of all, captured the summary of my agent architecture, like, what are the agents and what are their tools, what is the intent of this agent, and how the agents are interacting with each other. And then secondly, generated this test plan that says, what should I test? What are the scenarios are there? What are the edge cases? And what it should really test. And then there's a second set of skill that says, here is my test plan. Take this and then generate the PyTest code using that Monocle agentic framework to actually validate these test scenarios. And so when I ran that skill, it actually generated all these test cases for me. So it sort of maps to that test plan what I was showing. And this is the actual test code using Monocle. It actually automatically got generated. So now I'm just going to run the test, look at the output, and then if I can feed that output back to my Claude and say, here's the test plan, this is the test, this is the output. Now help me fix the problem in my code, and then Claude can go regenerate it. And I can run this test against by executing my agent code, or I can, let's say, have this deployed and I can randomly pick up some of the test the traces and then run these tests